Did you save the homework? Ugo, are you there?
I put it. Yeah, I put it in the file that has this called
You didn't save it in its own
Did you
file.
save this? Did you save this file?
Wait, you did not save it in its own file?
No, I put it with. Huh?
But you were supposed to put it in its
I
own
thought I
file
saved
now.
this. No. I saved this one.
I can't see what you're saying or what you're showing me. Alright, so can you explain the code? Do you know what is happening there?
You say you explain it in class.
Scroll up. Or scroll down rather. Oh, so what you have there, the first line of code is an array. Does it look familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So how many items are in the array? Did you hear
3.
my? Okay, 3 items. And 3 of them are strings, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So we created that array called RR, and then we now did, what did we do next?
We made a variable called I, and we put 0 inside it.
Good. And now you know that variable. Why do you think we put 0 inside I? Why do you think we use 0 and not 1?
Tough question. Let me see.
It's not tough. We've talked about arrays in JavaScript. For something should have, kicked off in your mind. Whenever you see I starting from 0, something should kick off in your mind. Why did we start with 0?
Because
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead now, I'm listening. Did you even make any attempt to understand the code by yourself? Ugo, I asked a question. Did you make any attempt to understand it by yourself?
So you explain it in class.
Yes, but at least you had the code almost 24 hours now. Did you make any attempt? Okay, let me just see if I can make some sense out of this code. Did you try it? No. That's
No.
silence saying that you didn't. The reason why we started with 0 is because
That
the first position in your array, in any array, even in your string, the first character in your string, its position is 0. In an array, the index of the first position of the item inside that array is always going to be what? 0. Does that not remind you of what JavaScript arrays be? How JavaScript arrays behave?
yes.
So that means that in this array
Yes.
now, I have 3 items. Are you listening? I don't expect you to be typing anything while I'm explaining. Did you hear what I said? I don't expect you to be typing while I'm explaining. Now,
Am I still typing?
now the array has 3 items. The first one is a string. That's Can you share your screen? And your mic is muted. Your mic is still muted. Now I said that the array has 3 items. So the position of the first string called coding is 0. The position of is 1. And the position of fun is 2. Did you get that?
The position of coding is 0. The position of is
Is what?
the position of coding is 0. The position of coding is 0. The position of fun is 2.
Okay. Now, you are still typing. I told you not to type while I'm explaining. Now, that's the reason why I was set to 0, because we want to start from the beginning of the array. We want to start from the first item all the way to the last. Now,
We are not
how do
starting
we...
from is. We are not starting from is.
Well, we can't start from is. Why do we want to start from is? Now, the reason, you can look at your while loop, the outer while loop. Can you see the outer while loop? It runs from, it goes from 0. Are you listening? Ugo, are you there?
Huh? Yes.
The outer while loop runs from 0 to, if you notice, the condition for the outer while loop is I less. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So what's the problem? What's the challenge you're having?
I don't know.
Is that water that you're drinking there? You know you're not supposed to be
It's showing
drinking
your
water. Using your...
internet connection is unstable.
Please put away that cup of water now. Quickly. Put it away.
I don't know what's happening. I'm thinking it's my internet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I could hear you.
Please stop sharing your video. You know what I said?
Yes.
So if your internet is unstable, the worst thing you can do is to start sharing video. You add to the issues that you're having. So maximize your internet usage. Don't share your video. Now, just listen to what I'm saying. The outer, can you hear me now? I told you to put away that cup. You're still drinking something. I told you to put it away. Did you hear me when I said you should put it away?
Yes.
And you're still drinking it. Have you put it away or not?
I put it away.
Now, the outer while loop, if you notice, it runs from 0 and it's checking for I less than the length of the array. That length function, remember the length function? The length function, we saw it first when we were dealing with strings. Do you remember?
Yes.
So it's the same thing here. If you remember when we were dealing with strings, we were treating strings as an array of characters. Did you remember that?
Yes.
So just this is like a like a refresher. So len function will help us to count how many characters, how many items there are in our array, and put that number there. So it's not as if there's anything strange there. So you can, if you want, that while loop that you're seeing there can be rewritten as while I is less than 3. And you know why it is 3, isn't it? Because there are 3 items inside the array. So that's the length of that array. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Please take note, we are not counting the characters inside the individual strings. We are counting what is separated. Did you get what I just said now?
Did I write it?
Well, I didn't say you should write anything. I'm just explaining something. When I say note, what I mean is that you should just pay more attention to what I'm saying. Did you get that?
Okay.
Now, I'll give you a note if maybe later, but for now, just listen to my explanation. If you can get the explanation and you have more practice, you may not even need the note, but just listen to me first. Now, that outer while loop, remember I said that it can be rewritten as what? While I is less than 3. Take note that it will never, once immediately I gets to 3, the outer while loop will end, because 3 is not what? 3 is not less than 3, isn't it?
Yes. 3 is equal to 3.
Exactly. And that's the reason why we did not put I less than or equals to len R. We did not put equals to there. That's why you were asking me, should we put equals to? And I said, please just type it the way you saw it. I will explain. Now, look at the next thing that we see there. We see another while loop taking off inside that while loop. But for it to take off, what must we do first?
While.
For the inner while loop to take off, what must we do first before it takes off? You don't understand the question. I said for the inner while loop to start, what must we do before it starts? We need to set a counter variable for it called j, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I expected you to answer. So j is the counter variable, and take note that in that inner while loop, we can afford to start j from 1. Okay, and that's the reason why we started from 1 and not 0, is because of what we want to do. It's intentional. So what do we want to do? The aim of this code is to, you know how we do repeat in Python. Repeat in Python is when you multiply a string by a number. Do you remember that?
Yes, that we do it in the black code editor.
Yes, exactly. So in this case, yes, so for us to do repeat, j needs to take on a value, not 0. Okay, so that's why we started j from 1. And then this time, we just for fun, we said let j end at 3. Okay, let j end at 3. If you notice, j is less than or equal to what? 3. So that means j is going to run from 1 and then go to 2
3
and then go to 3. Did you see that?
2.
Yes. But before it does that, for each of them, what is it going to do? Yes, it's going to. Did you notice that it's going to print? Can you see what is in that print statement? The name of the array, the accessor, that's the index operator. Do you remember that your index operator, the square bracket? And then inside, please take note, we use I. We didn't use j. Why? Because I is the one that is controlling as you're counting the array. Do you remember? I is the variable that is helping you to move from one position to another in your array. Do you remember? That's the reason why we started I from 0. So if you go and put j there by mistake, what will happen? Let me tell you what will happen if you put j there by mistake. Number 1. No, it's not that it will not run. You will have an error, and I'll tell you what the error will be. The error will be what they call index out of range. Index out of range. What does it mean? Yes, index out of range. Now, index out of range happens when you are trying to access. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Index out of range happens when you are trying to access a position in your array that doesn't exist. For instance, look at that place where j will end. J will end at 3, isn't it?
Yes.
But do you have any position 3 in your array? Do you have position 3 in your array?
No.
So can you see why we cannot afford to use j in between the square brackets?
Oh.
But we can afford to use j as our repeat factor. That's why we're multiplying it by, we're multiplying the ri, yes, by what? J. Okay, so this is the only, Python is the only language that this thing can happen. No, I'm not sure if there's any other language that can happen where you are
Not even
multiplying it.
Java or C++.
Well, yes, where you are multiplying a string by a number. Okay, and the way Python will interpret it is to do what? Repeat the string several number of times. So imagine what will happen. Look at what happens in the code. Can you see coding?
Yes.
Now, if you remember what I explained to you when we were talking about nested while loops, that whenever you have an outer while loop and you have an inner while loop, the inner one will run completely for each count of the outer one. That's the reason why you see coding will happen once, will happen twice, because that means J became 2, but I is still 0. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Then J will now become 3.
Because it's
and
coding.
Yeah, still, yes, it tripled it. But meanwhile, I is still what? 0. As soon as J gets to 3, when J gets to 3 and becomes 4, what will happen to the inner while loop?
It'll start again.
The inner while loop will end. The inner while loop will end. Immediately J becomes 4. 4 is 4 less than or equal to?
4 is greater than 3.
Good. So that inner while loop will do what? End. But look at what will now happen. Immediately it ends. What will now happen? I will increase by 1, isn't it? Can you see the I assignment operator, I plus 1? Can you see it?
Yeah.
So I will now go from 0 to what?
Yes.
I will go from 0 to
1.
what? Thank you. So once it goes from 0 to 1, guess what will happen? J will start from 1 again. Did you see that?
Yes. Yes.
And guess what will happen?
Like I just tested now.
So I is 1 and J is 1. So it will now go from coding to is. And you can see that is will now repeat how many times?
3 times. Wait.
3 times exactly. It's going to do the first time for J equals 1. It will now repeat 2 times for J equals 2. And it will repeat 3 times for J equals 3. Meanwhile, I is still what? 1. Did you see that?
Yes.
And remember, that I is still 1 means that the outer while loop has not changed, because we have not finished it, isn't it? But it was still inside the inner. Exactly. So as soon as J becomes 4 again, this is not the second time J is becoming 4. What will happen? The inner while loop
will end.
And I will increase by 1 and become what? 2, isn't it? It will become 2, exactly. So what will now happen to J? J will start from 1 again.
Yes.
And run it 1, 2, 3, and that's how you have that fun.
And J will now start again from 1. J will start again from 1 to 1.
Yes, from 1.
Coding.
Become 2.
Coding. Is.
Okay. All right. So can you see all this playing out? Okay. So that's just what is happening there. Okay. So you wrote the code again. All right. So do you have any questions?
I wrote it again.
Yeah, I noticed. Do you have any questions on this?
No. Let me
Okay.
see. Tail. Why do we? Why don't we need the assignment operator after the less than sign?
Where, at what point?
After the I.
Because I told you, remember len of the array tells us how many items there are in the array, isn't it? So if in this case 3 is what is standing there, that len r, arr that you're seeing there with arr in the bracket, 3 is what is standing there. If you put less than or equals to 3, are we allowed to for I to reach 3?
No.
That's the reason why we're not equals to 3.
Okay.
So is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I want to give you a small
A small what?
should I say classwork? Okay. All right. So are you ready? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, why are you silent now? Because I said classwork.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that it's difficult.
Wait, what you said?
I said it doesn't mean that it's difficult. Maybe I should even. Okay. So I'll send it in the chat box, okay? Or should I send it on WhatsApp? Okay. I'll send it on WhatsApp. So go. Ugo, are you there? Hello?
Oh, hello. My mic was muted.
Why should your mic be muted now? You know I can ask you to say something anytime. Okay, I'm about to send it.
The homework.
Classwork.
Classwork.
Yes. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. So you stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
So what are you doing with R again? Look at the question very well now. The question has already given you names of the arrays, so you don't need to form your own names. Just use the arrays, then write your own code. That's all.
Should I put double quotation mark?
Well, the question gave you single quotation mark, so why not just enjoy using the single one for once for a difference? For a change, I meant to say.
What?
You've already corrected yourself. Where did you get R from? I don't know who gave you R. I don't understand. Have I ever done something like that before? Two different arrays. It's not possible now. can't
So I
have two
should do
different
them one time.
before. Why do you think I said nested while? They should each have their own while loops, one inside the other. Why are you using one? Hmm? Are you forgotten that in this case, you have two arrays? Each of them start from 0. So what doesn't that tell you that J should also be 0? Why did you suddenly stop? Hmm?
I don't know what to put inside. I will press them up.
Look at the output. The output will tell you what to put.
Oh, it doesn't.
Huh?
It doesn't.
Look at it very well, Ugo. That thing is telling you what to put there. If you want the first item in an array to show, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do to make fortune show? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Uh-huh. Ugo, can you continue sharing your screen, please, and unmute your mic? Ugo, share your screen and unmute your mic, please. Ugo, are you there? Share your screen and unmute your mic, please.